taking like 2 bites. I do this, I was at the gates.
Hello and welcome. Happy Pi Day. I will do 100 digits of pi and then we'll get into the video. 3.14159265358979323384626433832795028841971693937510508419716 592-0974-938-628-620-8998-628-0348-253421170679. So I've been kinda by the way, my hair's tied back. I did not cut my hair. It's just pulled back. Anyway. I'm high on DXM right now. It's pretty disorienting, but I'm pretty disoriented in general. So honestly, the side effects don't really hit me because I'm so messed up from my autoimmune condition that it's all good. It's all good. You know, the effects, they're all good. Don't do drugs unless you want to end up a lonely loser in a room. I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want to. I'm actually doing okay, but I'm physically dying. I am dying. People who have my symptoms, they have about 10 to 13 years before they end up in a wheelchair or are dead. That is how multiple sclerosis, which means multiple scars on the brain. Multiple sclerosis is scar. And I don't know if I have that or not, but it doesn't matter. I have vertigo. I have numbness and loss of function in certain parts of my body, tingling in my spine, etc., etc., etc. Vision issues, double vision, hearing issues, blah, blah, blah. My nervous system is dying. You can call it whatever you want. It's not like they even know what multiple sclerosis really is, other than an autoimmune condition which they don't know how to treat. It's untreatable, just like Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Sorry, I'm slurring my words, stumbling over. Oof, due to the drug, kind of overwhelming, honestly. So let's chill for a second. I'm gonna have some more water. Very dehydrated. But otherwise doing good. I started a new diet. We'll see if the diet helps me at all. This is in mandarin orange. I'm holding in my hand. Yeah. We'll see if the diet helps at all. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to live a ton longer. Probably. Not very happily anyway. It's already influencing several aspects of my life in a very negative way. For instance, I was trying to code this website for a project which I will unveil, not in this video, but in a future video. You're all going to hate it. You're all going to absolutely hate this project. It's going to cause probably over 2,000 people to unsubscribe from me. And many people will be very upset for reasons they won't even understand, honestly. But it's actually good. It's very good. I'm working hard on it. I'm very proud of it. It's probably one of the most interesting things I've ever done in terms of coding. But it needs a website. It needs a website for a front end, and so I hate coding websites, web development. Ugh, it's gross. It's so gross. And there's so many different syntax forms, and it's just messy. It's just messy. And then you add Web3 and React into the mix, and it's like, oh God, what is this? What is this monstrosity, this Frankenstein code? It's horrible, horrible. It's just like, I can't. The people who are able to do that are not only geniuses, but they have the patience of, like, a monk, truly. Well, I'm just going to get some shitty website thrown up and That will be my front end. It's not going to be bad. It'll function. Oh, wow. It'll function. It'll be minimalist. It doesn't need to do much. Let's crack into this Mandarin while I'm pondering thoughts. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool coding project. I'm not gonna make it my whole life, but I'm gonna make a video on it in the future. Just one video, and then that'll be it. But I will be putting a lot of my time off the channel. When I'm in my actual life, I'll be putting a lot of my work time into that because it's a cool project. It's really, it's actually pretty cool. It actually is very, very cool. I like it quite a bit. I'm pretty proud of it. Is it the most amazing thing in the world? No. Is it the, is it like some genius thing? No. It's just really interesting and fun, and potentially could end up being, something a community forms around, perhaps. One of the things I learned from the person who broke the world record for staying up the longest is that is not going to sleep for the longest is citrus helps with nausea. That's it. The guy stays up for 11 days straight, something no human has ever been known to do before. And the only thing he comes back with is citrus helps nausea. And you know what? It does. It does. But you'd think you'd have something else to say. And he doesn't. Uh-oh. The curtain is slipping. The composure is lost. My calm composure. Oh no. But I'm pretty messed up at the moment physically. But very stable mentally. And, I have some hypotheses about that. I'm going to wait until I unveil those hypotheses because I want to make sure they're true. Or at least potentially true before I say them. But I will say I think my mental health is very, very, very much correlated with my autoimmune condition in terms of the food I'm eating. My autoimmune condition is still getting worse, but I'm not eating bad food, and so I'm more stable. It's interesting. That's basically, I guess I already unveiled it there, but I have a bit of a more in-depth hypothesis, but I have to wait a while before I start talking about that, because I don't know if it's, I don't have enough information yet on that. But, yeah, so I've been learning code. Honestly, did so much in 2 days, basically. 2 days of thinking, 2 days of coding. And, it just works. It just works. And it's gonna be, it's not big, it's not amazing, but it's really cool. I think it's very special, right? The code. No one's gonna appreciate it as much as I do, obviously, but it's very special. Anyway, that's enough of that. It's not for this video. I was going to talk about something. I don't remember what. I do have more oranges here if we just want to make this an eating video. I realize now those sounds may not have been very pleasant. Because I was just chomping down. I wasn't trying to make them sound pleasant. So, whatever. Oh yeah. I'm very glad to have been able to live as long as I have been able to. I'll be right back. So, yeah, I've been able to take my physical health for granted. Although I never really had very good physical health. But I took it for granted still. You know? And probably am still taking it for granted, now that I think about it. But I've never felt as good as most people get to feel because of my autoimmune condition, which I've had for very possibly most of my life, if not my whole life. And now it's finally, really smashing down on me and forcing me to take this much more seriously in terms of diet, which I've tried so many diets, every diet basically, and so this is kind of like the last shot. We'll see. I know someone who, I post on my Twitter, Texas Fruitarian, who does this sort of diet. Try it out for a while, see if it does anything. Probably won't, but hey, I got nothing to lose, because at this rate, I am going to have a very painful short life, which I always knew. I just wasn't sure how I knew that. But now I know, like somewhere deep down I knew I was killing myself physically, that my autoimmune condition, my immune system was killing me. I always knew this. Well, it's not, it's not too bad, physically it's horrible, but I'm okay right now. I wonder if anyone ever feels like I feel every day, their whole life. I don't think they do. I think they die before they ever feel like this. From like a heart attack or a stroke or something kills people before they ever end up feeling how I feel. How people with MS, other autoimmune conditions, how they feel every day. Most people never get to that level, I don't think. I say this because I've known my grandparents before they passed. I know my dad, he's getting old. And my parents are healthier than I am, and they're double my age. More than double my age. And they don't feel how I feel. So it's interesting, They can't relate, and so it's hard for them to relate. It's hard to relate to them anymore, in many different ways. But physically now, I noticed, I'm living like a 90-year-old, basically, because that's how I feel. I imagine there are probably 90-year-olds who have more active lifestyles than I do. In fact, I would almost guarantee that if they've lived to 90, they probably do have a more active lifestyle than I do. I just don't feel that, you know. So DXM, took a bunch of that. Kind of makes me a little anxious, honestly, but also very like you know, it's just, you feel like that's how I feel in general, because of the vertigo. I just feel like everything's going like, whoa. I feel like I'm on a ship. Yes, I feel like I'm on a ship all the time. But then when I take the DXM, it makes you feel like you're on a ship. So now it's like the ship is like, and I'm just chilling in my room, and the ship is. And but it also makes you happy. It makes you happy. I've noticed. It makes me happy. I don't know about you. Makes me smile a lot. Makes me think about better thoughts, I think. Or at least the thoughts I think about aren't as painful. Mentally, that is. It's not very exciting, I don't think. At least it's not at this dose. Because, you know, like mushrooms. Mushrooms are exciting because like your hearing changes, your vision changes, every sense changes, your taste changes, your smell changes, your everything is different, you know, and it's so interesting. This is a little less interesting, but I think a little more. But mushrooms can be a little overwhelming in how interesting everything is, whereas this is just like everything is nice. Everything's just nice. Mushrooms can be like that too. In fact, mushrooms can be beautiful. But, and I say mushrooms because I did mushrooms the other day. And just, you know, coding, doing drugs, eating fruits, and, you know, dying slowly. Literally, I have to stop coding because my spine hurts so much from. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting, doesn't matter if I'm standing, doesn't matter if I'm doing anything. It's just my autoimmune condition's attacking my spine or my discs, my spine or something. So I have to lay down, and I can't code when I'm laying down. So I've been sidetracked. What I'm doing is not amazing. It's not amazing, but it's very interesting. Like the amount of people who have done the type of thing I am doing, a couple hundred in the world, ever. So it's very special. And I will be there for the rest of, well, very likely the rest of humanity. Yes. So it will outlive me by a long shot. So it's a bit of a legacy, you could say. It's a bit of a passion project. It's not going to be cheap. I can tell you that. Not at all. The thing about this drug that's different than shrooms, I find, is that I can get overwhelmed on shrooms sometimes. I just get overwhelmed. But on this, it overwhelms me, And then it makes me feel okay in that overwhelm. It's like, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not panicking, you know? Whereas shrooms, it can get to like, holy shit, what the fuck? What am I doing? Like, what's happening? What am I? Am I a frog? This isn't quite like that. It's nice. I also do think it has health benefits potentially. You know, there are medical studies that I've looked up that use dextromethorphan, I think, for depression. Hold on, my chair's squeaking. Dextromethorphan for depression. They do bi-weekly high dose. By bi-weekly, I mean every 2 weeks. So, sorry, wait. Yeah, that bi-weekly is a weird word because it can mean 2 different things. Every fortnight, they do a high dose, or they do a small dose every day. And then they were going to compare those two for depression. I didn't see the results, but they're doing a study. But there are other studies that show health benefits in different ways. For people like me who have central nervous system issues with things like multiple sclerosis, if this diet works, the dextromethorphan might, and the shrooms, I switch when I can do the shrooms, I do the shrooms, and then I go back to the dextro. But so it is a very strange combination of stuff. And obviously I don't combine them because they're serotonergic, and you would not want to combine serotonergic drugs. That's dangerous. But shrooms have also been used in depression. I'm not trying to cure my depression, though, necessarily. I'm trying to fix my central nervous system, the damage I have caused to it. And I get a fun high out of it as well. I'm not just doing this for the high, although what is my life anyway? Sitting in this room, coding, doing strange things, it's... I have the weirdest life of anyone on the planet, I think. I really think so. My whole life has just been so bizarre every step of the way. But it's been a journey. I've liked it. It's been fun, I really can't complain about my life. I can't complain. It's been a fun life. But anyway, there was a point to what I was saying. So the diet might allow my body to heal. The shrooms cause neurogenesis. They can cause neurons to fire differently, wire differently, or be created. Dextromethorphan is a CNS depressant, but it acts on several different receptors that are very interesting for the nervous system. And point is, my autoimmune condition is going to kill me if I just so you can understand what I'm saying. If I were to go on a standard American diet, even a healthy standard American diet, very healthy, what you would consider very healthy, I would be dead in 10 years, probably, or in a wheelchair, with the rate this is progressing and how MS-like autoimmune conditions end up progressing. This is how they go. So, I got to think outside the box a little bit. And luckily, I was well prepared for this. I did a lot of research many years ago on things like shrooms, which I have a bunch of. I have like 10-year supply of dried shrooms, double bagged, like several different double bags with desiccants, like I got shrooms for decades. Because I used to grow them. And, dextro, that's cheap. Anyone can buy it. So, got plenty of that. Forget why I was saying that. Shit. Well, that's an issue. That is an issue. Whoa. Yeah, it really hit me there. Yeah, it's hitting strong now. I think I'm peak. I think this is the peak, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. 2 hours after I took it, it's around the peak time. Having a world of difficulty opening this orange here, this mandarin orange. People will disapprove of me. I don't care. You can put your negative comments in the comments section. This is my life, and I'm very careful. More careful than anyone. That's the thing. You might think I'm crazy, psycho, or out of my mind in some way. I wish. I'm driven crazy by how sane I am. In a fucked up world as this. Because in this world, it actually ain't so bad to be a little crazy. It's a crazy world. Russia. I'm going to talk about it. Everyone's talking about it. Of course. How can you not? Thousands of people dying. Not just directly from the explosions, but lack of medication, lack of food, lack of water. People are suffering right now. Right now. People are suffering. And I can't do anything about it. What am I going to do? I've not done anything for myself even. How am I going to help them, I'm sitting here barely able to walk. High as fuck on drugs. Trying to prevent my nervous system from deteriorating further. And people are getting killed. Because I don't want to go into the whole thing. Everyone's got their opinion, right? But whatever your opinion is, you better arrive at the conclusion that what is happening is evil. Doesn't matter how you feel about it, what the politics are of it, whatever. What is happening is evil. Man, I'm fucked up. I didn't think it would mess me up this bad. Wow. It's the drug, but also the autoimmune condition. It's like, I'm really messed up. I don't even know how I'm a functioning human at this point. like, man. It's amazing what we take for granted. We don't even know what we take for granted. We don't even know. Like, your whole sense of feeling secure where you're sitting. Imagine feeling like you're constantly falling. You ever felt like you're constantly falling? Well, that's how I feel. Constantly. Like I'm falling. You ever take, you know, people don't even realize it. They're taking that for granted. They don't realize it. They go their whole lives sometimes never realizing they're taking that for granted. Think about that. This is why I say most people don't have any idea about what people like me or people who have MS go through. You have no idea. You literally don't understand. You think like we feel a little sick or something. We feel so different from anything you've ever felt. You couldn't even begin to understand if you haven't dealt with it. You know? Imagine being like super fucking drunk. Just like super drunk, like you're about to black out drunk. That's about how I feel now, except without all the, you know, the room spinning and everything, without all the benefits that comes with. It's fascinating. I closed my eyes and yet I can still see everything. Isn't that strange? Huh. Very disorienting because my eyes are closed and yet I'm still seeing everything. That's weird. Let me open them. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's weird. Am I doing that? It's probably just a mind trick I'm doing on myself. That's strange. It's wild. Anyway. There's such strange drugs, dextro and shrooms. They're so strange. They are so bizarre. You know, we put it in cough syrup. Cough syrup has dextromethorphan in it, and we have no clue what this drug does. Not really. Not fully. And we're giving it to like kids. No clue what it does. Oh, you have a cough? Take some dextro. It's a cough suppressant, but only because it's a CNS depressant. And so it depresses part of your brain that controls coughing, which is a very low-level part of your brain. Who knows what else it's doing? Like, it's not just doing that, you know? It doesn't just attack the coughing center of your brain, obviously. So when you take a lot of it, like I've done, but it's not like alcohol at all. Not at all. No. It acts on a lot of receptors. It acts on serotonin. NMDA, I think. Did I get that right? I'm not that well versed on that one. Well, I couldn't type for a second there. Yep, NMDA receptor antagonist, sorry. Antagonist. Which makes sense. Because it's a depressant. But you don't feel slow on it. Quite the opposite. You feel hyper on it. Wow. You feel absolutely out of your mind on it. Everything's going so fast. Like, oh, it's overwhelming, honestly. Looking at everything, it's overwhelming. There's way too much information, and it's just, you take it all in. You take all of it in, you know? It's too much. It's too much information. It's overwhelming. I think it's time I just sit and think. I think now is the time I just ponder. Yeah. I'm not here to entertain. Not here to inform. I'm just here to be me, you know? And, I never thought I would have... I don't even like to contemplate the amount of people that actually watch my videos. It's weird and odd. I get that people, for whatever reason, care about me. Maybe appreciate some of my videos. You can move on. You don't have to support me forever, you know? Like, you can move on. I've moved on. Like, transitioning, it's not part of me anymore, you know? I really have just moved past it. But yeah, it's weird to contemplate that. I don't like it. Because that's not why I make videos, you know? I don't make videos for people. I make videos for me. And you can call that whatever you want. You can call it narcissistic, but I don't care. You know, it's not for anything. I don't even know if it's for me necessarily even. It is just me. It is me. It's not necessarily even for me. It just is me. You know, but I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have anything to do today. And I was writing code, and then I had to scrap a lot of the website code because I suck at writing web development stuff, and so scrap that, and I'm gonna have to recreate it. And the thing is, when you're dealing with websites, this is boring. But you're dealing with websites. You can't use like templates and stuff. with the type of code that I'm going to be implementing on it. You have to make it yourself and include things like Web3, which are very particular in how they function asynchronously. And so, I don't know how people did it. I mean, there are websites back in 2017, people were making websites with Web3. That's insane. It's crazy. I mean, I just don't know how they did it. Like, I can do it barely, with tutorials. I don't know how they did it. They're smart. I guess that's what you call smart. Yeah. Yeah. Those are actual smart people, not like me. It's nice to think about because many of them are very rich now because they were so explorative early on. Now they're very rich, richer than they could have ever imagined. I wonder if it's brought them happiness to be so rich. Do you think so? Do you think they're happier now? Maybe. It's possible. At the very least, they're probably happier because, people appreciate what they did. Regardless of the money. They have a community. They have, people who like them because of what they did. I mean, you can't get much better than that as a coder, you know? Coders, they normally go unthanked for the most part for the work they do, right? They're never seen. Coders aren't seen. They just do the coding and someone else takes credit, usually. But not in this case. And so, you know, it's actualized for them, their sense of self, their profession. I wonder, what is the shit? Oh, I'm getting too meta. Getting too meta. Not a good train of thought. It's so bright. It's so bright here. You know? It's so bright. I guess I could turn the light off. I'm gonna turn the light off. Whoa. Gotta be careful standing up on this stuff. Oh, that's a little better, you know. Not as much information. It's a little better. Wow. It's all for me, isn't it? It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, you know. Every single thing in this room is absolutely incredible. How it exists, how it continues to exist in its form without me even having to think about it. Absolutely incredible. Look at this. Look at this. This is the rind of the peel of the orange. Did we eat all three of them? It looks like it. Should have brought more over here. The project that I was talking about earlier is important to me because it will be here forever. It's something I will create that will be here for the rest of humanity, very likely. So it's important. Is it amazing? No, but it's not amazing. But it's something. It's something, and it's special, and I like it. Yeah, in this lighting, you can sort of imagine how I would be if I were bald, how I would look bald, sort of. Because of my hair being pulled back, black background sort of makes it almost look like I'm bald. Almost, sort of, kind of, not really, I don't know. I was watching this YouTube channel. It's called like Cinema Therapy or something. And they were talking about the Joker movie, the new one, with Joaquin Phoenix, I think his name is. And they were so right on everything, almost. It's such a masterpiece of a movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, truly. I relate a lot to it. But I think the therapist in the video kind of oversimplified what he was looking at. I don't know. I'm sure he did a lot of off-camera work, but it seemed like he oversimplified. Everyone labels this person bipolar, which is just, I don't know, the whole label thing's silly. I'd label him a human, you know? I'd label him a human. The Joker, that is, in the movie, you know? I think it's such a great movie. I think it's a really important movie for society, especially in this specific moment in time. People got upset at that movie because they said it makes mentally ill people seem dangerous, and they're statistically less dangerous. And I can understand that viewpoint, but I disagree entirely. I disagree. Everyone is dangerous. Every single person is dangerous. Doesn't matter if they're mentally ill or not, right? Everyone is dangerous and has the potential for evil. And someone like Arthur Fleck, who is just beaten down at every point in life, in every way. You know, we can't help but empathize with that as human beings. We all feel that to some extent in our life. We've all had those moments. And he is the ultimate sort of underdog in a sense, you know. the ultimate just discard of society, dreg. And and he's not a bad guy, you know. He's not a bad guy. He might be a little crazy, might be a little off-putting to some people sometimes, but he's not a bad guy. You know, we root for him at times, even when we shouldn't, when he's like, you know, shooting the people who are kicking him to death. Or, you know, because it's like, it's justice, but it's also, I don't know, maybe it's just justice. I don't know, it was something else. I don't know, I can't think right now. But this is important. For several different reasons. Because people are miserable. I'm miserable sometimes. People are dying. The world is really not great sometimes. And it's all relative, right? Like, my position is enviable compared to some people right now in Ukraine, perhaps. Very enviable. And yet I'm very likely not going to live as long as any of those people. So, is it enviable? And certainly won't live as happy a life, or as full a life, or as healthy a life. What's enviable? You know, it's all relative. Who wants to be me right now, really? Do you want to be me? Are you sure? Trust me. It's not as great as it sounds. Having my brain, having my body, being on these drugs. If you were transported into my consciousness, would you go insane? Maybe. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot. You would be overwhelmed for sure. But back to Arthur Fleck. So, this is just a person, you know? It's just a person. Had nothing to do with mental illness. Nothing. I mean, it did, and I related to it in that way, but it really didn't. It had to do with suffering and justice, which is what human beings have dealt with since we could fathom such concepts. Right? Suffering in the Ukraine, justice for Ukraine. Justice would be someone killing Putin and ending this brutality. That'd be justice for some, and for others, maybe not. Depends on your relation to all of this. And in the end, it is all relative. Arthur Fleck, did he suffer? Was his suffering really so bad? Seems pretty bad, but I don't know, I've suffered. And I related to him, and I liked the video, the movie, but I feel like it could have gone a little further than it did. But it wouldn't, of course, because it's, you know, it's a pop culture movie. It has a wide audience appeal, so of course it has to sort of rein it in a little. But I feel like it could have gone a little further. I think it was really a masterpiece for pop culture. But it wasn't what it could have been, maybe? I don't know. I can't write movies, so I don't know what I'm talking about really necessarily, but I'm just saying I think the overall idea, they were almost there. They were getting to the root of suffering, right? You know, because at the end of the video, movie spoilers, he kills his mom, or who he thought was his mom and wasn't. This person, the only person he had in his life. And you know what happens after that? He is so free. He is so happy. Because he has nothing holding him down anymore. It was the only person he cared about. You know, he had lost, Murray had humiliated him. The girl that he stalked told him to get out, he had nobody in his life except his mom killed her. And then had nothing. And was happy. First time in the video, he's really coming into himself. The movie. Because everyone was just holding him back. Everyone was holding him down. Every step of the way throughout his life. And so, who's the bad guy in that movie? And that everyone gets that. That's the whole idea of the movie, right? It's like, who's the bad guy? Do we know? No. It sort of blurs it all, right? It makes it all very blurry. And justifiable in context. I think it ends with him in a psych ward, right? Some sort of psychiatric center. And I think it's alluding that he killed someone in there. And then he takes joy out of killing, I guess. Which you could understand, I suppose, right? Because they're still trying to hold him down, They keep trying to hold him down. And at the end of the video, they're still trying to hold him down. And he's fighting back, still fighting back. War. Endless fight. He'll never win. The Joker will never win. Not that he'd probably want to, right? Because then he would have nothing to do. So, he enjoys the chaos. He enjoys the killing. Getting a phone call. Hello? It was a robocall. I knew it was. So Arthur Fleck's trying to beat society, and society's trying to beat Arthur Fleck, right? The Joker. And neither one will ever win. They'll just all suffer. They'll all suffer. relatively, and they'll think that their suffering is the most important. My suffering is the most important. Your suffering is the most important. Ukraine's suffering. This is, it's all always about this suffering. Because people want things. This is causing war. People want things, so there's war. If people didn't want things, there wouldn't be war. Desire. And that's what really the movie is about. That's what the movie's really could have gone to. See, it stopped. It stopped at the mental illness part. Because it's a fun little movie. It's, it's a Joker, it's a backstory. But it was so well made. But it could have gone further. It could have gone into that desire, right? The desire. Because it was so close. When he killed his mom, and suddenly he's dancing on the stairs, It could have gone further. It should have gone further. See, at the end of the video, sort of, he's like, he gets in this car crash, and he gets on top of the car, and everyone's cheering for him, and he's dazed, and he takes the blood and he makes it like a Joker smile. And that's powerful, right? There's a message there of chaos, of what happens when you go down this path. His life is not a good life, but he's happy, right? Is his life a good life? Of course not. He's suffered throughout his life. He killed his mom. He has nothing. And he's happy, right? So his life is not a good life necessarily, good in terms of what society would understand, but he's happy. He's enjoying it. The chaos. It's powerful on so many fronts, honestly. There's so many things you can take from the movie, but if they had gone just a little farther, because he's delighting in this crowd, but this crowd is temporary, right? He's delighting in the chaos is temporary. Because he never found what he was looking for, really. He was always looking for something. And what was he looking for throughout the video? Think about it. What was he looking for? Think about it. There's one constant theme throughout the video, throughout the movie. He was looking for a way out of suffering. And you can't get that through chaos, momentary gratification of urges. Not for a long time anyway. It won't last long. And they had this beautiful video, masterpiece of a movie. And they could have changed society with it. They could have changed society. And they took the ending, which, honestly, made me happy. But I don't want to... It was a momentary happiness, I enjoyed every moment of that movie. I smiled throughout it, basically. It was such a perfect movie for someone who has mental illness, like I do. My type. Borderline people. It's like the perfect movie for borderline people. It's perfect. To be happy, but not to find real change. I remember being very happy after I watched that. Very happy. So confident and happy and on top of the world almost. You could call it manic. but it wasn't. There was no mania. It was just stable and happy, content. But it didn't last. And yeah, I don't know. I would have liked them to go in a more, well, they can't because it's the Joker, right? I mean, he has a story. He's a character. So they were kind of tied. Their hands were tied in that way, I suppose. But that's it. There's a real story there. A real story. Like the Joker, okay, that's a fake story, but there's a real story of a real person in that movie. Of many real people. Of every person, perhaps. And it involves suffering, which is something almost nobody can escape. And we all constantly try to, in various ways. We're hungry, we eat. We're thirsty, we drink. We're tired, we go to bed. We're we're craving food, we give into the craving. We take drugs, right? These are various ways of momentarily pushing the suffering away. So that we can attempt to further our desire, right? Whatever that might be. Whatever goal we're setting. In my case, I'm coding, and my desire is to have this project that will outlive me and everyone I've ever known, and likely all of their families, and so on and so on. This sort of legacy project. Simple, stupid little project, but kind of a cool thing. And then you have people who are raising families and doing all sorts of things with their life, with the time they have and the abilities they have in their life. And because what else is there to do? Right? Why would you're here, you may as well do something. So, sure. Why not? But you're going to suffer for it if you go that route. You're going to suffer more than you ever thought possible. I've talked to several people, and I don't think they have the same level of suffering I do, in terms of literally how much they could potentially feel suffering. Suffering is very strange. It really varies from person to person. Even if you took someone else and put them in the exact same situation, they would suffer a different amount. It's like, I feel so guilty. I feel guilty. Because here I am, alive, healthy. Am I healthy? Well, not from my perspective, certainly not. But I have many capabilities, and I'm squandering many of those capabilities. But I'm very sick, right? And so I'm guilty. I feel guilty that I'm taking things for granted, but also I'm suffering. And it's this very bizarre feeling of guilt of how amazing my life is, and simultaneously suffering because of how difficult my life is and painful it is. Mostly painful. I wouldn't say my life is, well, no, I mean, I guess you could say difficult in a way. It's a different type of difficulty than most people deal with. Most people deal with, like, their boss and, you know, relationships and that sort of difficulty. You know, their car is a flat tire. That's a difficulty that they have to deal with. That's not what I'm talking about in terms of difficulty. What I'm talking about in terms of difficulty is like being okay with what you're doing, right? Because your car having a flat tire doesn't matter at all unless you need to go somewhere, right? So it's not the flat tire that's the issue. It's the need to go somewhere that's the issue. That's what makes you suffer. It's the desire. And this is sort of what I've just been rambling about this whole time. I'm not suffering because I have multiple sclerosis-like symptoms. I'm suffering because I don't want to have multiple sclerosis-like symptoms. That's why I'm suffering. Because I want to live a full life. Because I want to be healthy. Want to feel good. Want to have certain things in life. Want to be able to do things. Want to make a website. Want to make this coding project. I want. That's why I'm suffering. I seem to be coming down now. A bit. Back to my normal self. So I think I'm going to end the video here and just sort of enjoy the after effects. Life isn't easy, and you're going to suffer, and you have a choice. Do you want to do things, or do you want to be free from suffering? Do you want to be productive? Do you want a family? Do you want money? Do you want a house? Do you want? Do you want? Do you want? Or do you want to be free of suffering? Those are the two questions, really. Do you want, or do you want to be free from suffering? And that's, of course, a want as well. And so you shouldn't want that either, because you're going to suffer then, because you're not going to be free from suffering. So, all want is the same, of course. But what I'm saying is, you have a choice. You can choose to want and suffer, or not want and not suffer. That's a tough choice, honestly. Because, you know, my ego says, make the website, make the program. It's a cool program. No one's done anything like this, possibly in the history of humanity. And it will outlive you. You know? Is it cool? Kind of cool. Is it amazing? Not really. It's kind of boring, maybe. But it's special. And it's dumb. But it is special. You know, but that's what my ego says, and then the part of me that knows that doesn't actually do anything for me. For me. For my suffering. Let's say the project's super successful and make a ton of money and the community's great and everyone's happy, which is unlikely. But let's say that happens. I'd still be in just as much physical pain, likely. my body wouldn't work, still wouldn't work as well as it used to. I'd suffer just as much. So, why am I doing it? Is this an ego thing? There's no reason for it to exist. I could just not do it, and then it just wouldn't exist. But I'm probably gonna do it. Because what else is there to do?